Hi, welcome to Mercurius Being Astro Update. I am Amy Jensen, here to run through tomorrow's Aries full moon energies. And I don't know about you guys, but I have been feeling, as they say, some type of way with this energy. So we've got the Sun and Mars conjunct in Libra, opposing the moon Eris in the sign of Aries, and then those 4 planets squaring Pluto in Capricorn. So kind of a nice little powerlessness party in the heavens, really agitating the energies of power, fear, anger, agency, creative energy, will, is like kind of from the 3rd chakra, sort of will, as opposed to like the will of the Ajna chakra. Kind of feeling like the energy of wanting it to be shut down, like don't say anything, don't talk about it, don't express yourself about it. But that's really what these energies are for, is kind of agitating. Kind of stirring the cauldron. I really got an alchemical feel to this full moon energy, and that's why I'm kind of wearing the more Aries colors of red, thinking of the colors of red and white for this lunation, instead of necessarily the Libran colors or the straightforward Aries colors. So just going to back up a little bit and go into the Sabian symbols for this lunation. The Sun is at 28 degrees Aries, and the statement for that is, amid laughs of recognition, a comedian delivers a fast-paced monologue satirizing human foibles, trying to influence the beliefs of the public through humor or serious discussion, securing a public platform so one can reach more people. Topical humor that demonstrates the absurdity of common ways of thinking and acting, revealing something amazing versus debunking the false or the insincere, figuring out people's agendas, psychological acuity, thinking on one's feet, mental and physical acrobatics, sinewy independence of thought versus looking for a partner who's fun to bounce around with, dynamic duos, creating a showy, dramatic, and likable personality, depending or sharpening public discussion, asking fresh questions, and liberating iconoclasm. So that is for the degree for the moon, 28 degrees Aries. 28 degrees Libra, the degree for the Sun, is a man stands at a crossroads, behind him, unseen, a good and a bad angel. Descriptive phrases, exerting an ongoing influence behind the scenes for good or for ill. And this behind the scenes energy, I think, is part of what's getting stirred up at this lunation, and then really looking ahead to next year's US Pluto return. So that'll probably be in another video, but I think what I'm getting at this energy point is a taste of that energy, and kind of the feeling of us as individuals and part of the collective, experiencing it, integrating it, and then again, like transforming it. Okay, so seeing oneself as an agent of invisible spiritual powers, shining a light on a moral crossroad being faced by the public, guiding others along a path of light, moral accountability, convergence of causal factors, tracking down an external problem to its spiritual source, and trying to solve complex problems on an inner level. Again, that individual transformational alchemy that we're all doing at this time. Faith in the efficacy of benevolent forces versus paranoid entanglement. All right. Okay, also in the heavens, having Pluto squaring both the sun and moon. So the degree for Pluto in Capricorn for this lunation, the statement, a Sabian symbol for that is a customer in a rug store jumps over a lamp that is moving under the carpet he is standing on. In a moment, the scruffy head of the shopkeeper's son pops out from under the edge of the carpet. So descriptive phrases for this: joyful, creative participation in the ever-changing patterns of life. Retaining a childlike appreciation of life's kaleidoscopic happenings versus overlooking new elements as they enter the picture and suffering one misadventure after another. Being too involved in a situation to see what's going on versus gaining enough distance to recognize its larger pattern. Being immersed in a confusing sensory whirl versus detailed analysis from the sidelines. Bringing an argument back to underlying realities. All right, making sense of the whole picture by picking out vital connections or details. So there's something about that Capricorn, Pluto, bringing out the sense of having fun, digging into and seeing the patterns instead of feeling overwhelmed with it. And this part of regaining a sense of that Plutonian transformational power back within our bodies and really being able to embody that instead of kind of being disconnected and separated from it, as if someone else or something else can do the transforming for you or me or for one, and it can't. The only person who can transform yourself is yourself. So kind of a taking back of individual power and taking back our part in the puzzle of integrating all that's going on. All right, I'm going to stop there with that. I don't know if that made any sense. So Mercury, I'm going to let it just sit there. So how about that? Mercury just stationed direct on the 18th. So we're still not through the whole retrograde period. Yes, Mercury is stationed direct, but we're still not to where it's in the max elongation morning star phase, which is more about embodying and integrating all that we've uncovered, all that we've discarded, all that we've identified during this whole retrograde process. So after going through the max elongation night, evening star, and then the inferior conjunction with the sun, so we've let go of all the old, we've shed all the old, we've shed light upon it with the sun, and now we're taking all of that information and bringing it together and then embodying it. So this is another thing I'm coming back to a lot with the energy of this full moon, is really embodying it. Again, tuning into your experience and feeling into your experience, which is yours and yours alone. And then sharing that experience, communicating it, discussing it, not shouting it or arguing about it with anybody else, because somebody else's experience is going to be completely different. Their integrated, embodied experience. Aha. So then we can take their experience and your experience and my experience and everyone's experiences and talk about them and kind of weave a new pattern, weave a new fabric together. You can't skip this process, okay? That's the other important part. I mean, you can. I'm not telling you what to do, but we all can skip this process, and most of us do, right? I did not want to do this video. I wanted to skip this process. I did not want to talk about any of this, but I do at the same time, because it's my little contribution, okay? And maybe it finds resonance in someone else, right? Okay, so embodying and integrating this whole Mercury process, and then Mercury will get back to, it has max elongation on the 25th, so we're getting closer to the max morning elongation, so when it's farthest away from the sun. And then it'll be back at the degree at which it went retrograde, and I believe that's November 3rd, but I didn't write it down for this. So that cycle, third Mercury retrograde of the year, all in air signs. So hopefully we're clearing the air a little bit by this time. And this last one was in Libra, so hopefully we're balancing this at this time. Mars is just, so the Sun and Mars were just conjunct, starting a new 25-month Mars cycle, and this Mars cycle will be in Scorpio. So also about connecting to our agency, our sense of power and powerlessness. In Scorpio, themes of death and rebirth and creativity and creating, and anger and force and fear. And I realize, been thinking about this a lot, about the positive or toxic positivity, of which I have probably been a poster child. Okay, I'll admit it. So really connecting to those parts of yourself that might be more Mars or Aries like, because that's your, again, it's the third chakra, it's the Ram, you know, energy, it's the fire of who you are and what you want to be in this world, what you want to do in this world would be more Mars-like. And of course, Venus is more who you want to be and embody, and so it's kind of that masculine, feminine energy, masculine Mars and feminine Venus, but we obviously have both within us. So again, there's this integration. So we're beginning this new cycle, but it's a Plutonian cycle. So this, again, lunation is kind of sparking that energy. So we're kind of like kindling, we're starting those little sparks, which again, I'm gonna come back when we start having the US Pluto returns next year. And I'm going to put a link into Adam Gainsburg's website at the information for this video, because he has a wonderful US Pluto return recording that I just listened to the other day, and just really rang so true as far as what I've been feeling that's been going on. And funny, this is a little bit of a jump, but it really coincides with this whole Britney Spears thing, whether or not she gets free. And I did a couple videos on this. What it's flagging is her experience in this conservatorship, but really it's the whole music industry, it's the whole movie industry, it's the whole everything industry. And she was born under, I believe it was the Gemini Venus phase, which we are just ending Venus's current Gemini cycle, which began June 3rd of 2020 and will end in January. There's an eagle flying overhead right now, by the way. And yesterday when I was thinking about making this video, and an eagle flew over a couple different times. Again, like I said, very resistant to doing this, and resistant to kind of just being a little more free-flowing with it. So so thanks for hanging on here if this is making any sense. But just interesting that these little bits of disclosure, I guess, are coming out as far as Britney coming, that her story, this situation, and then Courtney Love coming out talking about conservatorship, and her experience with that. And again, this is all tip of the iceberg stuff, but I think we'll be hitting the iceberg a bit more next year with the US Pluto return. So this is kind of giving us a little energy towards that. Let me see if there are any other things I wanted to talk about. So Eris, mythologically, is a sister to Mars, or Aries in the mythology. And there is, and with the Libra and the Aries energy, there's a sense of fairness. There's a sense of, again, power and fear, and the balancing of the masculine and the feminine, and letting everything come to the table, all of the unowned parts of oneself. Facing our fears would be a Martian aspect. Feeling our fears would be a Venusian aspect, really embodying and feeling this living, beautiful experience that we're having. Also, just want to throw it out there, the Mars, facing the fear. I've just thought a lot about this fear response that we've all been having, and just feeling like for the last, 2 years, just super cortisol triggered all the time, always be afraid, be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. And how much we have embodied that in ourselves. So kind of thinking about fear-based manipulation, and how that shuts down the other chakras, and it shuts down us wanting to say anything about it, or it shuts down what you can say about it, what you can hear, everything. It's just like shut down, okay? So allowing ourselves at this full moon to sit in your body, feel whatever it is you're feeling. Write it down, and don't make it just a story that you've told yourself again and again and again. Or see that it's a story, perhaps. Let's do that. See that, wow, it's a story that I tell myself. But allow yourself to address the feeling of the fear, powerlessness, whatever is coming up, anger. And then what's the need from that? When I feel angry, is it because I don't feel like I'm listened to? Do I feel alienated? Am I feeling disconnected? So my need is to be connected. My need is to be heard. My feeling powerless. It's like, wow, my need from that, one's need is to feel like I have agency, to feel alive. There's something about that third chakra, Pluto, Mars energy, that's about being vibrantly alive. And yes, there's a fear to that, but it's like, that's the thrill, right? Do you want to be vibrantly alive and maybe a little scared of what will happen? Or comfortably numb, or comfortably silent, politely silent, spiritually silent? It's like, oh, I'm not ever gonna say what I think because that's not spiritual. It's like, well, how about you just say what you need to say, and you start a conversation with someone and you talk about it, and you find if you can talk to this person, and you can have a conversation and exchange ideas. Maybe you learn their point of view, and maybe they learn your point of view, or maybe you can't, and that's okay too. Maybe that's not the person that you'll share things with in your life. Maybe that is a different situation. The empty leg of this T-square with, I've got the chart here. So we've got the empty leg up here with the T-square of the Sun and Mars, the Moon and Eris, And Pluto is in Cancer. So Cancer is imaginative and sensitive and intuitive and reflective. Cancer, the moon, are about being in your body again and feeling your own cycles and your sleep and the hours of the day and the rhythm of your life and reflecting and remembering. So I think that's an invitation to remember you at your core, you at your soul's intention. What did you come in for? What do you want to do? What would make you feel happy and alive? So whatever is churning up with all of this energy right now, at the root of it, what would make you feel happy and alive? And tap into that. And know that whatever it is that makes you feel happy and alive, that's you. That's the real you. And as always, that you is perfect, whole, and complete as you are right now. Not tomorrow, not next week, not when you're being super good or super quiet or super balanced or super industrious, whatever it is. There's no conditions to your goodness. There's no condition, no conditions to your goodness. You just are. All right, and with that, I'm going to close the video, and good luck on tomorrow's full moon, and get outside and look at the moon, and Venus is really super bright in the sky, and she's going to be moving into another phase soon. So just enjoy the brightness of Venus and integrate this into your body, say what you need to say, create what you'd like to create, and I will see you again soon.